Hello and welcome. In this very video, we'll be learning how to use Adobe Camera Raw. I'm using Adobe Camera Raw 14.1. Adobe Camera Raw is a plugin by Adobe. It is a free plugin. You can easily download it from the Adobe official website. It is free, like I've said earlier, and you use it to edit Camera Raw images as well as raster images. So let's dive right into working with Camera Raw, and then we'll also learn how to save the settings we've worked on, so we can reapply the same color settings on other similar pictures without wasting much time, so that we can achieve the same result on the very image we worked on. So when you want to edit a picture, one of the first things you want to look at is to ensure that your colors pop. During the end of your color grade, you want to ensure that the colors pop. However, there are several color grades. There are vintage color grading and several other color grading that you can also do. You might not be interested in popping the colors, but for this very image, we just want to make the image pop. We want to make the lady pop. So let's just go right in. So when you're looking at this image now, you discover that the picture is a little bluish, it's darker, so it has a little more magenta. So I want to first of all increase the temperature and the exposure so I can see it a little more brighter. Okay, and then there is still magenta on the face. I want to reduce that magenta, just a little of it. Let's bring it down to 20. Okay, and then the contrast, I think the temperature, let me increase the temperature a little. Just watch what happens when you increase or reduce the temperature. If you remember, we've talked about the temperature already. So let's increase our temperature to maybe 4200, and then we'll come down to the highlights, the contrast. Contrast, just increase it a little. Highlight, dial it down completely. Shadows, just reduce the shadows, just pop it up a little, maybe leave it by 10. Let's increase the lights a little and reduce our darks a little, so we pop the darks. Alright, I think we might want to increase our temperature, our exposure. Okay, so we'll always be able to fix anything from here. So let's come to our texture. We want our texture to be a little high. The reason why we increase our texture is so that we can have enough texture on the face during frequency separation. Let me take it back to 0 so you see the difference. It is quite smoother. But when you increase it, you have enough texture on the face. So let's use 30 for this texture. Okay, I just zoomed by doing Ctrl plus, clicking on Ctrl plus on my keyboard. Alright, we can also want to dehaze, maybe by 5. And then I want to increase the vibrance. Now you can see the effect of vibrance. We'll just increase it a little, maybe to 10 or 8. Let's leave it at 12. Let's leave it for now. Then the curves, well, I don't think I want to touch the curves on this image, but of course you can always play around with the curves to see what you can get. Okay, let's just play with the curve. At least it's dodging the image for me a little. So let's go forward. We want to check the details, and I always like to increase the sharpness of my image so it looks sharper. Okay, it looks sharper. Alright, so that's it. And then we go to the color mixer. For the color mixer, since she's light skin, I want her to be a little more lighter, so I can increase, not the saturation. What I would want to do on the oranges is just the hue. The hue. Okay, just pop the orange a little, make her skin lighter. Okay, let's take it to 0 so you look at before and after. This is before, and then we just pop it a little to maybe 12. Alright, that is after. Then I wouldn't want to touch the other colors except if there is a need. For the color grading, you can also play with the color grading, but care must be taken to do it carefully so you don't end up messing up the whole image. So you can see the different effects. You can see what is happening as I'm moving. This is the highlights now, but I don't want it to go too far, so I'll just bring it down a little. And then of course it's not even a must for you to touch this. Alright, and for the optics, you can I love the vignettes here. So let me just pop the vignette a little, and then the geometry, except when you have a need for it, and I use it. For the effects, of course, we've already done vignette, so there will be no need for the calibration, except you have a need of it. There's no need of using it. So for this image, I think the contrast is too high, so I want to reduce the contrast a little. So I think we have an image already. Alright, we have an image, but I don't think this temperature is okay by me. It's too high, so I would reduce it to maybe 4100. Okay, let's assume I'm okay with this. It might not really be the best, but we have to make progress. Let's assume I'm okay with this. I just come here and save. When I click on this, it opens the JPEG settings for me. So here you choose a file extension with which you want to save your image. Here is the destination. If you leave it as same as location, it saves it right in the place. This is a folder where it is from. Okay, you can also modify the names. Okay, this is an extras extension for my studio name. The file format, of course, you can choose from there. The metadata, if you want everything, you leave it at all. The quality, you can also increase the quality or reduce the quality. The color space, sRGB is the universal. It's compatible with more devices. However, the default color space is Adobe RGB, which is of higher quality, but the challenge is it's not compatible with most devices. So it's advisable you go with sRGB, and the color depths and all the other things ensure that they match. Once you're done with that, you save. I've saved it already, so there will be no need of saving again. Alright, now all the color settings that we've done on this image can also be saved and reused. So we'll click on these three dots, we'll come to save settings, and you can see all the things we've adjusted are checked. So what we'll do is save. We'll go to the desktop and say save. We'll just give it a name. Okay, we'll save it on our desktop and just give it a name that we can remember. So once we're done, we just click on done. It commits the changes and saves it with an XMP file extension. Okay, this commits that change. However, we want to apply the settings of what we've done on a different image. So let's open the second image that we've not edited and apply that same setting that we've just done on that other image. So we'll come to those three dots again, we'll load settings, go look for what we saved, and we called it save. So this is our settings. We just open it. When we open it, it applies automatically on this image. Now this is all the color settings, color grading we've done on the previous image applied to this image. We just click on save and save and click on done, and it will be saved for us even as a JPEG image. Still found. Okay, good, it's done already. So we have this images saved without necessarily wasting time to do the color grading all over again. We've succeeded in editing two different pictures by applying the color settings of the previous one. And you can always modify the settings. For example, let's assume this is too bright. I can go back and open this image, the raw image, and modify it. Since I clicked done, it committed the settings. For example, this image looks too exposed for me. Alright, and I think the temperature is also too high for me. Okay, so I can modify that. And since this temperature looks okay by me, I can now save it. Okay, and once I'm done with that, I can then proceed to frequency separation. So that will be all for Adobe Camera Raw. I hope you learned how to use and save your Camera Raw settings. So until we see in the next class, keep practicing.